Let me be very clear. Things are going to continue to get worse before they get better. The memorial we held 2 nights ago will not be our last one, unfortunately. The death toll will likely top 500,000 next month. The cases will continue to mount. We didn't get into this mess overnight, and it's going to take months for us to turn things around. But let me be equally clear. We will get through this. We will defeat this pandemic.
The US president there, who's calling the battle against coronavirus a wartime undertaking. Now, Joe Biden says he will use the Defense Production Act to speed up the making of everything needed to protect, test and vaccinate, as he said. Now, so far, some 38 million vaccines have been distributed to US states, with less than half of those doses actually administered. The top US infectious disease expert says vaccines will not only keep the virus from spreading, but they'll also hamper its ability to mutate into new variants. Now, the US added more than 3,700 new COVID cases on Thursday, bringing its total past 410,000. Nick Watt picks up the story.
In California, it could take about 5 more months to vaccinate 75% of the over 65s if the current sluggish rate continues.
Get on the ball, guys. We're out here.
New York State has just 2 or 3 days worth of doses on hand.
You will see a constant pattern of basically running out, waiting for the next week's allocation, and then starting up again.
If the nation continues at this sluggish rate, it'll be more than a year before 75% of American adults are fully vaccinated.
This needs to be all hands on deck, really a wartime effort.
You just heard the new president actually has a detailed plan, and more vaccines are coming, likely among them a single-dose option from Johnson & Johnson. But will vaccines work against the various variants?
From the reports we have, literally as of today, it appears that the vaccines will still be effective against them. With the caveat in mind, you want to pay close attention to it.
Nationally, average new case counts are falling for now, rising in just one state, Virginia.
Right now, it looks like it might actually be plateauing.
But the more contagious variants could change that.
The one that is in the UK appears to have a greater degree of transmissibility, about twice as much.
I worry desperately in the next 6 to 12 weeks we're going to see a situation with this pandemic unlike anything we've seen yet to date. And that is really a challenge that I don't think most people realize yet.
Inauguration Day, a near record COVID death toll reported. 4,375 dead. Now, among the dead, the sign language interpreter at COVID briefings in Hawaii. Paddy Sokol was also a mother and a grandmother.
And the virus just took hold in her body and ravaged it.
The CDC now projects this nation could reach over 500,000 COVID dead, maybe 100,000 more lives lost before Valentine's Day. So these new variants that they say are more contagious, they're apparently not more deadly. But here is the problem. If they're more contagious, there will be more cases, there will be more hospitalizations, therefore there will be more deaths. So if you get it, you're not more likely to die, but overall, more contagious could mean more death. Nick Watt, CNN, Los Angeles.
New guidance from the US Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. It may be acceptable to mix and match vaccines if you absolutely have to. The CDC says the Moderna and Pfizer-BioNTech vaccines are not interchangeable, but it may be okay to get 1 dose of each in order to complete both doses. People have been worried their states might run out of whichever vaccine they received first. Now, the CDC also says second doses may be given up to 6 weeks later if necessary, but 3 to 4 weeks between injections is recommended by Dr. Fauci and others. We are seeing tougher restrictions across Europe to keep more contagious versions of the virus from spreading. There are several coronavirus hotspots right now to tell you about. The director of the European Centre for Disease Prevention and Control says whatever these variants have become established, wherever they become established, is precisely where the situation is getting worse. European leaders now looking into restrictions on non-essential travel, both within and to the EU. The European Commission plans to discuss new measures on Monday. Now, the world is fast approaching 100 million COVID-19 cases, that figure from Johns Hopkins University, and this is a little more than a year after the virus was first discovered. So how did it all go wrong? A new report is trying to answer that. It is criticising China for starters, as CNN's Cyril Vanier explains.
On the first day of his presidency, Joe Biden reversing many of Donald Trump's policies. Among them, the decision to withdraw from the World Health Organization in the midst of a pandemic. The WHO plays a crucial role in the world's fight against the deadly COVID-19 pandemic, wrote Biden on Inauguration Day. And the United States will continue to be a global leader. The Director General of the UN body tweeting back, "We are family." A timely shot in the arm for the WHO, whose independent panel just released a damning report on the fight against COVID. Global leadership has been exercised weekly, it says, and the worst of the pandemic and its impact are yet to come. The panel, based in Switzerland, was set up to assess the global response to the greatest health crisis since the Second World War. It points to a string of missteps, starting with China. Beijing didn't alert the WHO to a new respiratory disease until December 31st. That's several weeks after symptoms appeared, and didn't put Wuhan under lockdown for several more weeks. Health measures could have been applied more forcefully by local and national health authorities in China in January, says the report. The WHO is also found wanting. Its emergency committee not convened until the third week of January.
It was still a month after an alarm was sounded in Wuhan that the international system sounded its highest alarm available.
And the buck doesn't stop there. By early February, there were still fewer than 200 declared cases outside China, and the world had definitive evidence at that point of human-to-human transmission. So the need for urgent containment measures was clear. Yet in many countries, the report says too little was done. Panel members also lament a crisis of solidarity, with wealthy countries able to secure equipment, therapeutics, and now vaccines, while poorer countries are often left behind.
As our report says, where you are born should not be the factor that determines your place in the vaccine queue.
Something the Biden presidency may help alleviate. The 46th U.S. president has pledged to join COVAX, a global effort aimed at ensuring access to COVID vaccines for every country in the world, a program Donald Trump had refused to join. Cyril Vanier, CNN, Paris.